Y'all hear our music? Hey, y'all. Welcome.
She didn't pull the audible on us, y'all. I don't know what she's doing.
I wasn't trying to do that. I was just trying to see what it was going to do.
She want to start pushing buttons at the 11th hour.
It still feel like it's that camera still looks like we off. See how it's don't start moving now.
Like that. You want to move forward?
No, I think it's just, we just off center. You see what I'm saying? So how's everybody
What's
doing?
Going on?
Welcome back to another Marriage is Monday.
Marriage is Monday.
I am Jamie, and this is
Damien,
and we are collectively Marriage is Real. So
thank y'all so much for tuning in today. I see we got some people coming in on Facebook.
I'm already hot. I'm already fanning, as y'all know. I be having my flashes, so let the Lord use you and just pray for your girl.
So today is November 16th, 2020. We have less than 2 months left in 2020. This has been a year for the record books. There's been a lot of crazy things going on in the world. You know, we're in our first pandemic. I know of my own life.
My lifetime, exactly.
You know, some would say that when Obama was in office, we had a pandemic, but it was definitely nothing like it is right now. So
they said it?
Yeah, they were. I think it was SARS, but only 2 people died from SARS. So I don't really consider that to be a pandemic. You know what I'm saying? But so due to an overwhelming response from last week, everybody really enjoyed us having the conversation about.
Sorry, y'all. It's bothering me. It's so off.
Lose my train of thought.
An overwhelming
response about respect. So we're gonna talk some more about respect. Somebody drop us a line on Facebook and let us know we're coming in good. I see people joining, but we don't have any names or anything. So if y'all wouldn't mind,
drop us a
thumbs up on if anybody's tuning in on Instagram, give us a heart or something, you know, so we know we're good.
But yeah, so like Damon was saying, we're going to continue with the respect aspect of the acronym of Crave, CRAVE. As y'all know, that's what we've been talking about these last couple of weeks. And it is an acronym for communication, respect, attraction, value, and execute. So we were on the R for respect last week, and I guess people still wanted us to stick with the respect. So here we go. Let me make sure we have all those.
Okay. So we'll just kind of touch bases on some of the things, kind of the main points of our Marriage is Real's main points of what respect are. Respect is.
What respect is?
Yeah.
There we go.
What did I say?
Respect are.
Oh.
What respect are.
My bad. So respect, you want to make sure that you respect each other. And then understand that respect is the cornerstone of manhood. We can't function without it, and a man would not be able to effectively husband you without respect. That means that he won't be able to give you what you need as a wife. So, ladies, just keep in mind that very important for a husband to have respect. Not to say that you ladies don't need respect as well.
Because we do.
You do. Everybody needs respect.
Everybody.
But it's definitely a two-way street. But respect for us is a core need, and because of that, it's like a non-negotiable for us. But for the ladies, it's considered a way of showing love.
So it's a non-negotiable for us as well. We just interpret it differently. They interpret it as respect. We interpret respect as love. So they go hand in hand. So it's synonymous.
Cool. And then, like I said, like what Jamie just said, your wife needs respect as well, and it's defined as deep admiration. For women, it translates to love and makes them feel safe, etc., etc.
Right.
So we just wanted to do a quick recap of everything what we were just talking about.
I sure show it good in Instagram.
Oh yeah, y'all look at our new shirt Jamie designed.
Show that good, and I don't necessarily like these y'all, but I just wanted to be
on Instagram we
rim marriages,
but
Rim.
See, it's backwards.
Like rim.
Yes, it do.
Let me
R-A-M.
see. Oops. No,
See, real.
that
But
don't.
his marriage is real. That's you
It
can
don't look
see
like
the
rim
marriage
to
is
me.
real under there.
Okay.
It's up to interpretation, baby.
Oh.
So yeah, we're just gonna keep talking about some different aspects of what of respect, of how you can show respect to your partner. So let's see where we.
So
I
for
should
I
have
know
been.
one
Oh,
thing I
go
want to say
ahead.
that we didn't talk about last week as far as respect for women, non-sexual touch can be a form of respect because if every time you touch your wife or you touch your spouse or your girl or whatever the relationship fiance, it's always supposed to be climactic at the end of that affection. It starts to make her feel like feel used or feel like she's just a piece of meat, and it comes across as disrespectful if she's even trying to be affectionate with you and everything that she does. um it always ends in let's get busy. It starts to feel disrespectful for women. So non-sexual touch is a form of respect, which again we translate as love. So fellas, please, please implement this into your relationships. Don't every time you touch her or she touches you, a hug, a kiss. Maybe she wants to show you respect. Maybe she just wants to come and give you a hug or a kiss and just say, I respect you so much. I admire what you do. Or I thank you so much for taking care of the house or just holding us down or whatever it is she wants to say and be affectionate with you, and then you like, oh girl, yeah, I can show you how I can hold it down. Don't do that, because that just ruins the whole mood. And it again, if it's always that way, it feels disrespectful. So just keep that in mind. The non-sexual touch, we translate that as love, and if it's not that way, it can come across as disrespectful. I digress.
So somebody joined us on Instagram. I can't see what that is.
Hello, TLC Healing Company. Thank you for joining
Thanks for
us
joining us.
on Instagram. Thank you so much.
So let's just go over some of the different things we talked about regarding respect. Here's one. Oh, and by the way, we're going. You get
I didn't get my fan. Don't forget about the seasons too. We have some giveaways for y'all. So
oh yeah. Shout out to Big Toe Seasoning.
Big Toe Seasoning, y'all. We got some giveaways. We're gonna be doing some giveaways to send some seasoning to those people who like to cook and get their chef on. We got some seasonings for y'all. So stay tuned.
You gotta stick in to the end.
Stay tuned. So I will be giving away, doing the giveaways like for a couple weeks because we got a few. She hooked us up. So shout out to Sakina with Big Toe Seasoning.
Shout out Sakina.
It go hard. So just stay tuned to the end. We're not gonna be here that long tonight, so y'all ain't gotta stay tuned that long. But it might be a quiz. We might have a question, so we can know who to give it to. Okay, so go ahead.
All right. So what was the one I was about to go to?
I don't know. Respect. You know what the respect is?
Yeah, but I'm trying to make sure we don't go over any of the points that we went over last week.
We didn't make no notes. Y'all, he was not prepared this week. Obviously.
I'm prepared because I got the notes.
I have my own notes.
So let's see. When using humor to liven the relationship.
But you're not in the frame.
Oh. So again, when using humor to liven the relationship, be careful to only playfully tease and not to wind up with sharp barbs.
Sharp barbs?
That's what it says. Sharp barb.
I don't even know what a barb is.
To stick your barb.
Oh, like a barbed wire.
Sure.
Got it.
Like a barb.
Okay.
So so we talk about this all along. That's real loud.
Sorry, y'all.
Thank you. So when you've been together for a long time, as you get older and you grow old together, some of the things that were fun and funny early in your relationship, sometimes they're not as fun and funny, especially when you are starting to deal with your own types of self value, self-reflection,
insecurity.
That's the word I was looking for.
There you go.
Your own insecurity. So sometimes it's hard for you to, take that ribbing or that joke like you used to back in the day. So when you are joking, make sure you know where to stop because you could end up in a crazy place over the smallest thing. That's one thing I've noticed is like when you've been married for a while, you can argue about the smallest stuff. It could be the small. Sometimes, y'all, I'm trying to think of one of the craziest.
But with that, sometimes a lot of times the issue is not the issue. The issue at hand is not the real issue.
Mm-hmm.
So you do argue over a little crazy stuff. Like we were arguing over pizza not too long ago. What type of pizza that we order all the time or not order all the time? It just went on for a while because we were trying to figure out. I was like, why did you order sausage? We never order sausage. We always order beef. And he was like, no, we don't. We order sausage. I'm like, I haven't had a sausage pizza and I don't know how. So it just went on for a while. And it was like, are we really arguing about what kind of topping we have on the pizza? But to your point, you can argue about small little things.
But to your point, it may be a root of something else.
Right, absolutely. It's the issue. What's the issue when the issue at hand is not the issue? That's the question of the day.
So in that, there could be some type of feeling of lack of respect looming.
Absolutely.
In whatever that issue is.
Yep. And then I'll say too, I'll say this to we talking about respect. So I know sometimes a lot of men feel disrespected when women are asking questions. And it's not that we're asking questions because we don't respect or value or honor you or respect what you're saying. We asking questions because we asking questions because we're human beings and we're entitled to ask questions. And what's wrong with that? But I think sometimes men interpret a lot of questions as she don't respect me. She don't think I know what I'm talking about. No.
Could it also have something
we're just
to
asking
do with
questions? No, it may in some instances, but a lot of times it doesn't start out as her not respecting you or doubting your decision making or anything like that. Mm-hmm. It's just that she's asking questions, right. And because you internalize it, or men feel like she's attacking, or she's being disrespectful, then you start to lose her respect because of the way that it's coming across to her. And we just like, I'm just asking questions. Mm-hmm. That's all I'm doing. There's no tone, there's no motive, there's no malice. I'm just asking to ask because women need to understand what's going on around us. So
and husbands, we got to remember that's okay. It's not, sometimes, and I think sometimes questions in certain situations could be a form of challenge.
Yeah.
And so to remember that our wives are our partners, they're our teammates, and that they're not here to challenge, they're here to connect. Right. Don't take it to heart. It's like, okay, remember, and then too, also remember, she's grown. She's a grown person. We're both adults in this situation, and you can ask as many questions as you want. And the reason that someone is usually asking a question is not to be petty, but it's because of a lack of clarification, or maybe because you're not explaining yourself or what the situation is clear enough for her to not have to keep asking you questions.
Right.
So you may want to make sure that in your explanation, you're making it as simple and easy to digest as possible, so that she don't have to keep asking questions.
Right.
And it's just like a teacher. They trying to teach you the Pythagorean theorem, but you don't understand it. So you keep, what's up? What's going on, Bobby?
Hey, Bobby. Thanks for joining.
They keep asking questions, and the teacher starts getting mad. And it's like, well, that's on you because you're not explaining the situation very well. Make sure that you're thinking about, if I was on the other end of this, could I understand what I was saying?
And then just say, okay, what questions do you have? If you're not necessarily understanding what I'm saying, what questions do you have for me? Hey, Julia, you to get the clarification that you need. Oftentimes I wrote, I had a point today that I was going to say, a lot of men are starved for respect and honor, starved for respect and honor, and they feel insecure in areas themselves. And so if there's something that you're dealing with, because women deal with this as well, but we have a lot of people that we talk to our girlfriends, we talk to other people, so we can get sometimes that validation that we need from our moms, our sisters, our girlfriends. men don't really talk in that regard. So they could be feeling starved of respect and honor. And it could be something that you feel that you're lacking, or there could be an area that you feel insecure in. And when she's asking questions, or even if a comment is made because of the way you're feeling, you can interpret that as disrespect. Mm-hmm. So we have to be women, we have to be careful also in what we're saying. Acknowledge them in that, even if you just say thank you. Thank Facebook, but we still got y'all here, Instagram. But sometimes, even if you have to find one or two things that you respect him for, just on a good day, y'all ain't no beef, ain't no nothing. Just say, hey, I just been thinking about you, and I just want to let you know, I respect you. I respect the fact that you ... and I respect the fact that you whatever. Yeah. If it, like I said, even if it's one or two things, if it's small things, just whatever you can do to try to focus on seeing them as God sees them. Because if we're looking through our own eyes, it's very hard for us to see, because we flesh. So we just see what we see, and how they wronged us, and how we're upset about whatever it is that's happening. So, and that's not easy all the time. I'm telling you from what I know, not from what I heard, because we've been here and done that. But for the success of the relationship, that's one of the things that you can do to try to find, to try to show him that you respect and honor him.
That's good.
Thanks.
Yeah.
It's hot.
So, next point. Replace cutting sarcasm with gentle language.
Yeah,
that's a very big thing. That's something, and especially word on the street is I may tend to be a sarcastic person. And so I have to tell myself this all the time. I just have I have a smart mouth. I have a quick wit, and I'm always thinking of something smart, funny to say. And a lot of times it's not with intent. It's just because I think it might be something funny. But everything I say ain't always funny. I may think it's funny, but it's not funny. So I have to remember to use gentle language.
Right.
I can't talk to my wife. Men, we can't talk to our wives like we talk to our buddies. Because we were watching New Girl. I don't know if y'all remember that show, New Girl, that used to come on Channel 4 if you live in Dallas. And so the main character, her name is Jess, and one of the guys that lived in the apartment with her, his name is Coach. And so Coach was trying to motivate her through her breakup. And so she was on the couch watching Dirty Dancing, and she was crying. And he comes in, he said, "Stop it!" And she just breaks all the way down. He didn't use gentle language with her, because as a guy, that's something that may motivate us. Is like sometimes we need a swift kick in the pants to kind of jar our memory, or kind of get us back on track. Mm-hmm. We need that, but we can't handle our wives like we handle ourselves, or how we would handle another guy, because they don't respond to the same stimuli like we do.
Exactly. And sometimes men, because of that, men get into protector mode, like you said, being gentle. And because men, like I was saying before, about finding things to respect about him, saying thank you for respecting protecting us, protecting our home, and realizing that sometimes when they get into protector mode, it comes across as controlling. And women, we don't like that. So it's like when you get into that mode of trying to be protective, remember this point of being gentle, because if not, you ain't my daddy, and you need to move.
And sometimes it doesn't really matter how gentle you are. They just don't want to hear you trying to tell them what to do.
But it's because it feels controlling, because a lot of times, oftentimes men don't use their words like we use our words. Like we would say, well, baby, don't do this, because when you do this, this could happen and this could happen, and then it's gonna make me feel such and such and such. Men will just be like, "Nah, you ain't finna go nowhere." Who he talking to? You know what I'm saying? So there has to be a conversation. There has to be some gentleness. There has to be what's the word? More detail around what's happening. Because for us, we had that issue a lot of because it would, like I said, I try now to make sure I'm home by dark, but it's a pandemic, so I'm always at home anyway. But before he would be so upset if it was dark and I was home. I haven't made it home yet. And he would call me and be like, "Where are you?" And I'm like, "Well, I'm in Target." And he was like, "Well, you need to hear him come home." And I'm like, when I finish in here, I'm gonna come home. Well, yeah, you come straight home. Who is you talking? Why? Why? So we have had this conversation. I had to tell. I'm like, look, I'm grown. If I leave this Target and I decide to go to Foot Locker and Walmart and Kroger and wherever else, because I'm an individual and I'm a grown adult, I can do that. I didn't realize that this was his protector mode man part of him that was concerned about my well-being because you didn't say that. You just made it seem like you just trying to tell me what to do, and that ain't how
Well,
it goes.
for the
You
record,
don't get down like that.
I did say it, but by the time we had reached that point, it was pretty much.
But not
irrelevant.
initially. When this first started happening, it wasn't initially said. Is what I'm saying. So in my mind, I've always interpreted it as you just trying to, tell me what to do and control me. And I'm like, no, I'm just for that. When I leave Target, I am gonna go to Victoria's Secret. I'm joking. But I just said all that to say that when you are, because women, we have to remember too that that's part of who a man is, the provider, protector, all of those things. So when they get into protector mode, even if they do come across,
and we
remind him.
And we don't get into protector mode. We stay in
protector mode. When we hear them and when we feel like they're in protector mode, just remind them, like, okay, well, hold on, I understand what you're saying, but the way you're talking to me is,
right.
Just
it's
say that. But then also remember too where he's coming from. That's that empathy piece of putting yourself in their shoes. Hey Kevin, how you doing? Good to see you. Thank you for joining us. Yeah, so I'm sorry I broke in on your point because I wanted to say
that was not. I'd already said my point.
Another thing that I will say is I've been hearing this scripture for probably 3 or 4 weeks now. Like when I'm hearing people talk or listening to pastors and stuff like that, they talk about this scripture all the time, and I had never heard it or read it before. And it's 1 Corinthians 7:28, and it says, "Those who marry will have trouble." And I was like, I've been married for 22 years and I ain't never heard this. I ain't never heard this scripture before.
I see you with the flex.
With what? What's
the flex? With your ring. I see you.
I really did forget. But let me just let y'all know I just got my ring back because it was broke. So I hadn't had it for like a year. And then because of the pandemic, they weren't doing repairs. So I was wearing that little band. But now I got my little ring back, so I'm happy. But I really wasn't trying to flex. But since he said something, y'all see it.
She kept doing like this. I thought she tried
like that
anyway. To get him.
Anyway, like I was saying, 2 Corinthians 7:28, it says, what did it say? Those who marry will have trouble. And so I was like, okay, Lord, you got to help me with that because I thought we were supposed to be successful in marriage and helping each other heal and stuff like that. But if you think about it, God gave man, the first thing that God gave man was work. And the first thing that he gave women is a relationship. So Eve comes into existence with this man, like, dang, I ain't even get to be a baby and just be on my own or nothing.
She didn't know what baby was.
I'm just saying. She just come right into it, having this man that she's, in a sense, I guess from a woman's perspective of responsibility, I'm responsible for being this man's helpmeet because this is what God said. So because we're so different in the way that we think about things and the way that we process things, that makes sense of why it says those who marry will have trouble because we're so different. Mm-hmm. But we just have to remember to celebrate the differences. And in doing that comes the respect piece. Respecting him, seeing in him what God sees in him, and seeing in her who God has created her to be and what God sees in her. And it helps the two to respect each other. The respect and love thing goes hand in hand.
That's good.
Thanks.
That's good.
But I ain't never heard that scripture before. And I was like, Lord, you knew I didn't need to hear that. 22 years ago. I was like, I don't want to set myself up for trouble.
And I think that's really something that a lot of people miss. It's like you think because you get married, it ain't gonna be no trouble.
Man, please.
So you can really translate.
Man, please.
You can really translate marriage is real as 1 Corinthians what
7:28. I need to put that on this shirt down here. Press it. 1 Corinthians 7:28. So somebody can ask me what that means.
Hashtag trouble.
Come on, let me tell you what it means.
Hashtag trouble.
But it's
wow. Kay been around. Kay said, I remember when Damien told me he didn't let you go out after dark.
See? So Kay, you know. So now you get an inside look into what was happening because it was not going over well with me.
I just didn't want that to happen to her because she's so little.
I get that.
She like this big.
I'm advertised for one. But what I'm saying is, say that. Don't just tell me what I'm not gonna do. Why? Because you don't need to be going out. What? That don't even make sense. But this started when we was teenagers, before we moved in together, before we got married, before anything. He started trying to tell me not to go to the club. I don't need to be going there. You need to be no, that's not gonna happen. That's not gonna work well. Thank you for the heart, whoever that was. I can't see who it was. Okay.
Let's see. Kevin said, I think one of the biggest things people face nowadays is respecting each other and boundaries. Absolutely. And them boundaries have to be set. That's the thing. You need to set them on the front end.
And if you didn't set them on the front end, go ahead and set them now. Because sometimes some things you just don't run into until you run into it. You just don't. So then when it happens, like, okay, well, it's kind of good this happened so that we can talk about this and go forward from there. Hi, Nico 416H. Thank you for joining us. Thank you so much.
Was you gonna say something?
Go ahead.
Okay.
I have to chime in.
Next point. Speak directly to your partner rather than sharing your complaints with others. Speak directly to your partner rather than sharing your complaints with others.
Absolutely. And don't say, this is what we don't like.
Who is we? Women?
Women. Because it's disrespectful. When men always be saying, oh, women talk too much. Oh, that's a woman. Y'all, that's a woman. Y'all know we can't understand them. No way. That's a woman thing. Like you say, do you understand how often men say that and what that interprets, or how a woman or your wife is interpreting that? Like you ain't even trying to understand her because in your mind, it's a woman thing. I ain't gonna even try to understand it. Oh, she talked too much. Okay, well then let me just stop talking. But like I always say, if she's not talking to you, fellas, she is talking to someone and it may not be of the same sex. I'm just saying. And them emotional relationships, what they call them? Emotional affairs, maybe what we always talk about. Emotional something. It's a word I can't remember. But those emotional ties or emotional relationships can end up and turn into some ding dong.
Physical, maybe?
Some physical ding dong. Some dingling.
Okay.
Because if she's feeling like you disrespect her and you not listening to her, well, you know he gonna listen. Even though he ain't listening, he gonna act like he is very attentive. Man, what he doing, man? You don't even deserve it. She gonna be getting everything she need from Steve. So I'm just saying, all of that, oh man, she just talked too much, and that doesn't go over well with us because it makes us feel like you don't care. And it feels very disrespectful. So, FYI, for all of y'all who don't know. And if you think I'm lying, ask your wife. Ask her. Talk to her. These are good conversations to start a dialogue. Hold on, let me see. Oh, what happened? Somebody said something. Let me see. She said, I thought he was very protective, but I thought it was sad that it was dangerous for you to go out alone. No, it was not said. Okay, it wasn't.
She said sad.
But I think she meant said. Because she said she thought he was very protective too. Thank you, Julia. But yeah, so anyway, I'm trying to see what else. Then you said something about being gentle.
I had gave a point.
Oh, go ahead.
Went into this
go.
You trying to tell me something?
No, I'm trying to remember my points here.
So make sure that you are going to the source. If you got an issue with your spouse, that's who you need to talk to. Mm-hmm. And let me say this to that point. It's nothing wrong. first of all, you want to make sure you have vetted the person that you're sharing this information with. You don't want to just be telling everybody that may not have your best interest in mind about what's going on in your relationship. You want somebody that can stay neutral, but yet and still also hold you accountable as well.
Right.
So make sure you've done your due diligence on the person. If you decide that you're going to talk to someone, that you've done your due diligence on the person that you're going to talk to about your situation. And then just make sure when you do have that conversation with your spouse, that it's not a complaint. The thing we got to remember is we have to stay solution minded. Most people know what issues they deal with. Most people know what's going on. If I know I've gained some weight, yet I still love to go to Marble Slab as much as humanly possible, I know that. I know that I didn't put on a couple pounds. Ain't got that same sexy that I had, 5 years ago. So you're already aware of that. So just make sure that you're trying to find a solution to the issue. That true, you address the problem, but don't just put all your focus on your energy just on getting somebody told or just going off or whatever that is. Make sure that after you have made your grievance or whatever that issue is, so now let's talk about how we can get past this. Let's talk about how we can collectively work on fixing this particular situation.
Right. Hi, sex coach Kane. Thank
What's
you
going
so
on?
much. Yes, so you're right. And that was my next point about no, when you were saying, have the conversation, my point was don't speak harshly to your wife because you're teaching your sons how to talk to women. Also, like for us, we have a son and a daughter, and we've never allowed our son to talk to our daughter any type of way because you're supposed to be protecting her. So you can't, because if she's used to you talking to her crazy and her daddy talking to her mama crazy, then guess what that's setting her up to do? Be with somebody who talks to her crazy. You know what I'm saying? Who talks to her harshly and is aggressive, and that's not healthy. That is not healthy for nobody, and it's not helpful. And so it feels very disrespectful because somebody could be, whatever they're saying could be true, but in the way that you're telling me, I feel very disrespected in this moment. I feel very disrespected in this hour of conversation. So just be mindful of that if you have children or nephews or whoever, young people are watching you.
Everybody's on, and especially when you may be the go-to people in your family. They may never say anything to you, but people are always watching how you deal with each other. So make sure that you're dealing with each other kindly.
Mm-hmm.
Don't just do it out, for everyone, but make sure that it's a common practice that you're kind to each other.
Right. Absolutely. What was I gonna say? So, apologize when necessary, y'all. Just apologize. If you know that you was wrong, just get out of ego, get out of pride, and just a sincere, genuine apology.
Yeah.
Even if you feel like you weren't wrong in the moment, but you don't want to, be walking around the house with all this tension. Sometimes it just takes you to be the bigger person. Hey, I'm sincerely sorry that got out of hand. It may not be that you're apologizing for what you said, because I stand by what I said. I'm sorry that, or I apologize that you took it that way or that it went there. But we still have to have this conversation to see how we're going to proceed, if that makes sense.
Yeah, because do you want to be right or do you want to be married? You're not gonna always.
All the time.
If you think you're gonna be right all the time in your relationship, you are sorely mistaken. Mm-hmm. You are sadly mistaken, because it happens. Exactly. I could have had video proof of something.
Right.
And it's like I could just show you, but it's like, what good is that gonna do for the relationship?
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Sometimes, like the old people say, you got to eat crow. Everybody's done it. I've done it. I know she's done it. Mm-hmm. Because sometimes the issue or the argument isn't worth what comes after it.
Right. Absolutely.
Because sometimes you can say something in the heat of the moment, and you're done. You've passed it, but what you said stung. Mm-hmm. What you said, like I threw a rock and I hit you in the eye. Okay, let's go get some ice cream. I can't even see out my left eye.
and you just over it.
Right, you just over it.
No.
And that's not, you gotta think about that stuff.
Right. And that's the point I was gonna make too, is it's hard. Marriage is hard, and sometimes it's even tricky because we're flesh and we have feelings. And when you're married to someone, you don't always feel the same every day. Like he was just saying, you may get into an argument and it's like, you know what, I don't like him in this moment. I don't like her in this moment. And it could be something that's been going on for a couple weeks, couple months, couple years, and you start feeling like I'm on this emotional roller coaster, because some days I feel like I'm so in love, and the other days I feel like, you know what? I don't know. So you just kind of feel like you on this, like you crazy. You feel like you're losing your mind sometimes, but that's a part of being human. Like we have feelings, and that's why when they talk about, being happy, happy is a feeling, happy is fleeting. I could be happy in this moment and then go in there and realize I ain't got no ice cream. And I'm like, dang. And that just took my mood down. So you have to be careful about allowing your feelings to lead you. Have the feelings, but don't let the feelings have and guide you, because marriage is rewarding if you allow it to be. But just in recognizing that respect is a huge piece of the puzzle. Outside of communication, respect for one another is the thing that holds pretty much everything together. The intimacy piece, the connection, the chemistry, all of that cannot come void of respect. Like you have to have respect for the person that you're with. Otherwise, someone feels like they're being wronged. Like I said, for men, they need respect. Women, we need love, but respect and love for us go hand in hand, because when we feel disrespected, we feel unloved. So then, you hear people say women don't need respect. Yes, we do, because it goes hand in hand. So absolutely, if you wouldn't say it to your mama, don't say it to me. If you wouldn't do it, don't do it. And this is a lot of times we hear people are married and the husband or the wife treats people outside the home better than you treat your spouse.
We see this a lot. We see it a lot.
Use that as a gauge. Yeah. If you've heard that, or if you know that, use that as a gauge. Okay, I wouldn't say this to my mama. I wouldn't do this to my mama. And they are supposed to, your spouse is supposed to be held at a high regard because they come first. So check that against that. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, would I do this, or would I say this, or maybe, because it's easy for the person who's in front of you to bear the brunt of whatever it is you feeling or going through or whatever. And they just supposed to take it. But that's when a person feels like you're taking them for granted. So respect is a huge piece of the puzzle. We got a comment here. Were you gonna say something?
No.
Before I read it.
No, go ahead.
Okay, it says sometimes you have to agree to disagree. Absolutely. That's great. And you do it in love, and you are not going to be right all the time. That's true. Sometimes you have to not even discuss some things at that moment. You have to come back to it at a later time. Absolutely, Julie. That was a great comment.
Yeah.
And that's why we always talk about town hall meetings. Sometimes at the moment, I already know that he's triggered or I'm triggered. If we have this conversation in this moment, it's going to blow up. This is not the good time. But then what I will do is simply say, you know what, we need to have a town hall meeting. Because we both know what that means. And it doesn't always have to be negative. Because sometimes the town hall meeting is just to say thank you, just to say I respect you, just to say, something good, just to call attention to positive things, not just always negative. But like she said, sometimes there is oftentimes in that moment is not the time to have that conversation, unless this is the allotted time that we've scheduled to have this conversation.
And we've done videos about this before. The point I'm about to make here, about not going to bed mad, that it happens. So I know you'll hear people, that might be a piece of marital advice that you might get. Let's say you go to bed at 10 o'clock and y'all just had a drag out at 9:52, and y'all finish the argument because y'all got to get up and go to work in the morning. It's like, we're not gonna talk about this no more. We're gonna go to bed. You're not mad anymore at 10. You're not mad in 8 minutes.
Right.
I'm sorry, you just not. So you don't have to, and then don't put that energy in the world. What if they don't wake up and all that kind of stuff? Sometimes you go to bed mad. It happens. Listen, y'all. When you take your vows, you're saying you're going to be with this person for, until death do you part, right? In that time of however many years that is, that's going to happen. So don't beat yourself up about that. It happens sometimes. It's just part of life.
I think too, where people get that misconstrued is because people take that literally about not going to bed mad. And the word says something about don't let the sun come up on your wrath or something like that. For me, the way that I interpret that is that's a matter of the heart. What do you feel in your heart? I can still have as much love for him as I love him more today than I did when we got married. So that doesn't change because we just had an argument and my flesh is still upset.
Angry.
Like my flesh is still like, oh my God. That just because you can't just turn off. That's not even like physically, physically, we're not even wired that way. That's like you going on a run and you done ran a mile and then you just stop and you good. And you ain't breathing hard.
But your heart rate is still going.
It's the same thing.
Right.
So it's like making sure that you check your heart and what's in your heart when they talk about not going to bed mad. Not that you're not going, be feeling upset, but what's going on inside of you? That's the thing that you want to make sure that you don't go to bed with no hatred and malice and, destruction and all these divisive things in your heart.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing that you need to be focused on when you don't go to bed mad. Just saying, okay, I still love him. We just having a spat right now. I'm upset about I don't like the way it's going. But that doesn't mean that I want anything to happen to him.
Right. You don't have any ill will in your heart.
So I think that's the biggest issue because before when we were younger, you try to do all of this stuff. Don't go to bed mad. Well, okay.
How you do that?
Well, I'm trying, but I'm still mad.
Right.
Because for us, we're night owls. So a lot of times we up late. So we just happen to have this argument late. It's already midnight. I'm finna go to bed. I don't want to talk about this no more. If that's the last thing you say, you think you're just gonna be okay?
And then because we night owls, we might not go to sleep.
Right. Because you mad.
I can't go to bed. I can't go to bed.
You just over there laying on your side just fuming like, I can't
go to bed. I gotta be at work in 30 minutes.
You just fuming. But that doesn't mean that my heart has changed toward him. I still don't want anything to happen to him.
Right.
I still have goodwill for him. Nothing in my heart has changed. Just right now in this moment, I'm upset.
Right.
It's almost like for us that have children. How many times have your kids made you so mad? You be like, oh my God, I want to strangle this little joker. Or I'm gonna slap you. You know what I'm saying? But that doesn't change how you feel about the one you love just in this moment. I'm upset with you. Go to your room. Go in your room before I hurt you. Go, you know what I'm saying? It's that same way. So I think it's just a lot of times we weren't taught how to interpret a lot of the stuff that we hear in scripture and a lot of stuff that people tell us, and you trying to do something that's unrealistic and unattainable. Absolutely. So we have a comment there. You want to read it?
Yeah. Sia said, if you tell your spouse, let's come back to it, make sure you do. Initiate it. Don't wait for your spouse to say, are we going to talk? Honor your commitment to come back to it. If you wait until your spouse says something when you should have, you're taking advantage of their grace.
That's absolutely true. And that's another reason why a person would feel disrespected. Because again, like I mentioned earlier, it makes you feel unheard. It makes you feel like you don't care. You don't understand. You don't want to understand.
Like what they're saying isn't important to you.
Absolutely. So you said, let's come back to it, but then you never said nothing. So I'm just like, okay, well. So now for me to have to be the one to bring it up, I'm already feeling a type of way about it because you didn't honor what you said. So now, especially if it's a guy, respect is being chipped away because I honor you at your word and you didn't honor your word. So now I'm like, okay, well, that's one of the things where it's like I don't respect him because he's not respecting. Right. So
and we gotta get back to the old school way where our word is our bond. Mm-hmm. When we say something, it's gotta be what we say. If I tell you I'm gonna come up and I'm gonna come through for you, that has to be something that I do.
Hi, Nakia Redmond on Instagram. Thank you for joining
Thanks
us.
for joining. Did you have another point
No,
you
I
wanted
think
to
that's
make?
all my points for tonight.
Okay, so let me go on to my next one. I guess we're getting close to an hour, so I'll maybe do this one and maybe one more. Um, Make room for your partner's style. There are many ways to get things accomplished.
That's true. That's very true.
Yeah. So if you let me just bring up one of ours, the way I fold towels. So sometimes the way that you do something isn't always the way that your spouse does something. It could be folding towels. It could be the way that you vacuum. You don't put you don't track the floor the way
Man.
that you're used to, or the way excuse me, the way that you load the dishwasher.
Right.
All these arguments, but I took it upon myself. Like I came home, been a long day. I come in here and I just go ahead and load the dishwasher. You know what I'm saying? And then when I do it, all of a sudden it's not a dishwasher like this. Well, I'm just trying to help out. I'm just trying to do my part because it was something that was important for you. Oh, you in here loading the dishwasher wrong. Well, I'm just trying to help out. So just because you have a certain style of doing something and I have a different style of doing something doesn't make it wrong. It's just different.
I'm sorry on Facebook, y'all. If y'all can't see us, it looks like we're frozen.
Yeah, we've been having some
Um,
technical difficulties
I don't
tonight.
know what's going on. It usually doesn't do this on our stream. But we'll keep going for those
Yeah,
who
keep
are on
going.
Instagram. But to your point, it looked like it moved. It's clocking now. Shoot. But to your point, to his point, like he said, make room for different styles of people because we've had this situation before.
Hey, Aisha.
And for me, personally, I just feel like one of the things that I would take issue with is I didn't feel like you were doing it or he was doing it. Let me talk about Connection lost. Oh, okay. So yeah, we trying to come back. I don't know if we're gonna be able to.
Well, it came back up in 58 minutes, so I don't know what the heck happened.
I don't know what happened. Y'all sorry. She said somebody said we lost you. It was our connection, guys. We're
I don't
so
know.
sorry.
We didn't pay for the upgrade. We got the highest internet we can get over here. But you know what? This is the first time something like this has happened, so I'm not really tripping on that.
But yeah, those are all my points. We finna go. It's finna be an hour, so Instagram's gonna go out anyway. So we can close unless you.
Yes, no, we can go ahead and shut it down. I mean, with everything that just went down anyway. So for everybody that was on Facebook, we're gonna post this on our Instagram page, Marriage is Real. If you want to catch the end where you guys lost it, we were still live on Instagram as well. So we're gonna shut it down, or rather, if anybody has any questions, you can ask them now. Otherwise, we're just gonna sign off and go get some dinner from the kitchen.
Oh, and we have a giveaway. That's right. The Big Toe seasoning. So, what's the question? What was the topic for tonight? Whoever.
Oh, that's easy.
Whoever.
Give them some hard.
But we lost connection, so I don't know if I can. You know what I'm saying? We lost connection, so I don't know who was in and who had been in for that long. So, what was the topic for tonight? The first person to respond or to comment the topic for tonight, then we're going to send you guys some seasoning. I wish I could get the thing is way over there, so I can't get it, but
yes, you
I can't reach that. A lot of time, if they feel like you we got a comment. A lot of time, if they feel like you telling them what to do, they will quit helping too. That's true. Same thing with women. Don't tell me nothing.
Damn, we got a winner. See ya.
Yay!
Respect.
So we're gonna send you some seasoning, girl. It's good.
Big Toe seasoning.
It's some samples of like Cajun seasoning.
Yeah, because she be cooking. She be getting her cook on all the time.
I know we ain't got much time. See, we finna lose them on Instagram. Let's see. It's still up. See y'all, look. It's called Big Toe Seasoning. Can y'all see it in there? And
shout out
to Sakina
with Big Toe Seasoning. I own a Big Toe Seasoning.
The packaging is really nice too, y'all. But it's three different seasonings in here. It's lemon pepper, all-purpose, and Creole. So you'll get a chance to sample these. And if you got a little extra, girl, come on, give me some. Respect and love and crave. Girl, there you go. See, you in there, girl. You always got our back.
Make sure we send it to you.
So yeah, we're gonna send you some Big Toe seasoning, and that's all you have. That's all I have, and we will.
We're good. So next time we probably won't see y'all next week, but when we come back, we're gonna talk about the A in Crave, which is arousal
/ attraction
/
All right,
we love y'all.
Thank y'all
Marriage
so much
is real.
For joining us.
Please share, like, comment, all that stuff. Marriage is real. Thank y'all for all the love. Thank y'all. Thank you, wife, for your beautiful shirts you did, even though you don't like it.
I don't never like this.
These dope to me. I'm gonna wear this to the dance.
Bye, y'all.
Y'all have a good night. Love y'all.
And Trace.